Here's our items. Let's go ahead and jump over now to our purchasing. So we'll take a look at our vendors. So you'll see here your vendor information has been integrated over from from GP to Business Central. So here we have the list of all your vendors. Same thing here. We'll just go ahead and pull up one of these. Back one. And you'll see it'll be a similar field throughout the MasterCard. So we have the general section, which is just your vendor number, a name. If there's any balance information, you would be able to see it here. These are also you could drill down further and get a breakdown of which one are the outstanding invoices or transactions that you have open for them. On the right-hand side, you have some statistics, so you would be able to see open balances. Any outstanding orders would be anything that's currently unposted. Outstanding invoices, same thing. And then you also have some tiles here of the different transactions. So if you want to see history of all the posted invoices or so forth, you could drill down here and get that information in this pane. Now you do have also an attachment section where you could attach certain documents, links, or notes. Add that information directly into the vendor card. Then the next few section here is your address information. So this would be typically your main bill to address. There is another section where you put any ship to addresses, more for like customers, but also on the vendor, if you have additional addresses, you could do so there. Then from there, we have our invoicing section. Here we could add more information if anybody's tax liable, if they're exempt. That information will be stored here, and then we come down to our posting groups as well, which will store, in this case, our default accounts payable account for vendors. Then from there, we have our payment section, which will have more information for our payment terms. So our payment term information has been integrated over. That information would be stored here. And then I'm not sure if you're using 1099s, but if there's any 1099 vendors, then we also have our 1099 codes here that could be assigned to any specific one of those. And then the last section is the receiving information. So if any of these are vendors we purchase from, you could enter a specific location code or a default shipping method that can be used. Anytime we enter a purchase order, it will automatically populate that information. So anything like the payment terms, whenever we start a new transaction, it will default this payment term. But just note that in each transaction, you are able to modify the payment term if needed. For some reason, sometimes we get a different payment term. Now, same thing here. Let me see if I could pull up a vendor that has a balance. So here, like I said, this one has the balance. We could drill down, get more detail of which invoices are outstanding. See that information here. There's also an option here to navigate. Under history, we have what we call the ledger entries. And here we also will be able to see all the open transactions, any payments, pretty much all the history of this vendor. And then within here, you also have the filter to filter any of the transactions. Now, currently what we're seeing here is what it integrates over into the specific vendor card is any of the open transactions as of the time that we did the integration. Those would be shown under the vendor ledger entries. And then there's other windows to actually see the history for any of the vendors. So once we have the vendors, there's one last thing here is you do have shortcuts here. So if you're within a vendor card and you want to start a new purchase order or start a new purchase invoice, the difference between those purchase orders, something you're purchasing, a purchase invoice would be more of a miscellaneous charge. It could be like your utilities or anything like that, where you don't have to enter a purchase order. So more like the transaction entry window in GP.